9777 or comment on our Facebook Live feed. This is the Foxhole Morning Show on 103.9 The Fox.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Monday. A little bit of a rocky start here technically. We had to completely reboot the entire simul-stream system in order to be able to get connected with you because something went onto the fritz the first time we tried to do it. So we're waiting for people to join us on YouTube, and Facebook, and on Twitch. And we will commence with our Monday morning session here on the 7th of July with Roy Moore, Steph Barber, and yours truly with all the folks from the Hal Raisers. Coming up. Hey, Hubby 798, welcome. You're the first in the room today on Twitch. We've got people on YouTube and Facebook, and so you won't see their comments. I'll try as much as I can to relay them to you. Here's Canada Dan joining us. We got a Canadian canine we're going to show you when we get things all squared away and people show up. Welcome to Canada Dan. Chris here from New Mexico. Yeah, we had a bounce back from some stuff going on. We couldn't figure out whatever reason that stream was very rough on the start, so we just restarted it. Nothing was happening. There was all kinds of wild blinking going on. Good evening, Mel Mel. Joining us again from Australia. Dale here. Good morning, Arizona. We'll get to the traffic in a second here. Roy Moore in for Johnny today alongside Steph Barber, so we'll listen to them. As soon as we get done with the traffic here, we'll come back and show you the smile source of the day, and we'll kind of get things started on this Monday morning, albeit a little bit later than usual. Looking at 3 Surface Street problems to get your Monday morning commute underway here. We got a crash in Flint on 2nd Street at Church Street that's going to slow things for some of you. City of Burton, Belsey Road at 69 over by the Wendy's restaurant. We've been working on cleaning that one up. And in Clayton Township, Beecher Road at Nichols Road, we continue to have that as a problem. They're still working on getting that one squared away. Nothing happening right now that's going to slow you down, though, on any of the freeways. For updated vehicle city traffic information, a reminder you can check out classicfox.com/traffic. And yet another reminder that if you happen to spot a crash or unusual delay, let us know at 810-230-WRSR. That is 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster right here on 103.9 The Fox. All right. Okay. Looks like Eric has joined us now early in the morning in California. Welcome to Eric. Good morning to you. Let me quickly get you smiling here before we get into other things. I've got an update for you on our friend Tina, who has been away from us for a while, battling some health issues. I managed to get in touch with Tina Jr. last night and kind of get an update on what's going on with that situation, so I want to give that to you in a minute here. But right now, they, on this calendar, the 365 Dogs calendar we always show you, they give you the salute to the mutt of the month every month. And in this case, we're going to salute from Bradford, Ontario, in Canada. This is the mutt named Lucy. It's a mixed breed who originally hails from Turkey, ended up here in our area, loosely if you want to talk about that, because it's in Canada, Bradford, Ontario. And we find Lucy, who happens to be a poodle husky mix. A poodle husky mix named Lucy. You don't find those every day. Right there. You have a brother that lives in Bradford, not to be confused with Brentford. Yeah, there you go. Any news in there, Smiling Sheila, with we've got some sunshine coming up later. I don't know, Sheila, did you happen to catch some of the fireworks in your area over the weekend? Because I understand that they were once again pretty spectacular, with the exception of the fact that there were some that went off on the first night somewhat inadvertently. But no major issues created by that. Okay, Pathfinders here. That means Slyman, New Hampshire here. Good morning to New Hampshire. And the answer to the question, do we have an update on Tina? The answer is yes. I happened to get in touch with Tina Jr. last night, and she was sharing with me that they have been continuing to try to adjust her pain meds and apparently not doing so all that well yet. And the other thing I hear is that she is not able to either stand or move very well at this point. So was hoping for a little bit better news on that front, but so far that's not happening. She's not able to stand or move very well at all. Oh, you were camping. Oh, the camping still, again. Were there fireworks over in the area where you were camping, Sheila? Anyway, because, there were fireworks everywhere this last few days, much to the chagrin of a lot of people's animals. So, tell you, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to have to deal with the kind of health issues that she has been dealing with, Canada Dan, for sure. Hot, humid, and sunny right now in New Hampshire, but they are moving along. It's not going to... We've had some pretty warm weather here in recent days, but today it's cooling down. It's cloudy right now. The vibe is not nearly what it would be if it were sunny out this early in the morning. And it's going to be only 77 degrees, which is a welcome relief. Over the course of the last few days, it's been kind of hot and humid around here. 15 Celsius in Finland. 15 Celsius is 59. 59 Fahrenheit. Here now, Michael George Bathurst is joining us on Facebook. You can't see his comments because he's over on Facebook right now for everybody else who's on YouTube, but he's here and ready to go. Rock and roll on a Monday morning. Morning, Michael. Always grateful to see you back at you. We love to see you stop by every single chance you get. Michael is one of those who does regular live streaming as well, does a lot of inspirational music, talks football when the mood strikes, which is often. And we'll get to, we're getting to the point now. This is the month where the NFL is back before the month is over. The first preseason game is coming up on the 31st of July. It's the annual Hall of Fame preseason game from the Hall of Fame city of Canton, Ohio, and it's the Lions who get to play in it against the Los Angeles Chargers. Here now is Roy along with Steph.
Caught up in you 38 specials, some Southern fried stuff for you. Here at 7:21 in the morning, Hal back at 8 with the 5 things that you should know. We'll check traffic for you in just a little bit. That's up to the minute stuff. Mostly sunny today, about 77 for the high. All right, Steph and I, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're streaming us on the platform there, as all the kids call it, I have no idea what the kids call it. It's facey space to me. But anyways, nonetheless, we were talking about, we've heard, because we have animals,
yes.
You got to keep an eye out on the ticks. And I believe there's a country song, Check Me for Ticks or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure there is, yes. If there isn't, there should be.
Yeah, I believe there is. I'm not sure who does it. I would have to look it up, but I remember at one time hearing it on the country station. But anyways, it's something that we don't think about a lot around here.
No, I know.
But
although we should be.
Although we should be looking, yeah. I've had one here and there. Usually it was not in this area.
Uh-huh.
I took a trip up north or down south. But my grandfather, like I was telling Steph a minute ago, my grandfather lived in southern Illinois, El Dorado, Harrisville, the big town down there. It was really not far north of Kentucky. But he was picking them off the dogs every day.
Oh.
He had hounds, and they would, and they don't take long at all to swell up.
No,
They're just a nasty thing. I don't like ticks.
I don't like them either.
I don't think
I have heard of Goodell's, Michigan, and used to live not all that far from there once upon a time.
Truly spawns of Satan.
Mutated somehow.
Yeah, that was
Seventh circle of
a
hell.
virus from extraterrestrials.
Something. They came up from under the ocean, interplanetary something, and next thing you know, here
So
they
I
are.
wouldn't hesitate to ask Johnny,
Yeah.
because I know him better than I know you.
Right.
But I'm going to go ahead and ask
Yeah.
anyway, so then you can choose
geez.
to answer or not.
I'll answer it. If not, I'll make it up.
All right. Oh, perfect.
There you go.
Where's the worst place that you've ever had a tick?
Oh well, I've only had them on my leg and arm. That's it.
Oh, that's
What are the pictures beside me all about? Those are the drawings that I do.
Cracks or crevices or...
That's what you call the Norm Stoltz Memorial Art Wall. This particular face over here is the late comedian Norm Stoltz, nationally known, who we lost in October, who was a regular Friday morning part of our show and succumbed to cancer back in October. So we have renamed our art wall of all the drawings that I do, including the one of him years ago, the Norm Stoltz Memorial Art Wall. That's what those pictures are about. I got a bunch more. In fact, I'll show it to you in a second here when we get done with what they're talking about.
Is around up there working at ATZ, but she got Lyme disease.
Did she?
Yeah, and she suffers awful headaches from it. Just awful. Matter of fact, Susie was married to Charlie Martin from Bob Seger, Silver Bullet Man.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a drummer for a long time there. But nonetheless, Susie, a great gal, but she was. You could tell when it was flaring.
Sure.
Yeah. Dark room, leave me alone.
Oh,
yeah.
well, I've had the chronic migraines. I know what they're like, but they're not tick related.
Tick related, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
But having spent 3 summers up in the UP, during that first summer, I wasn't as aware of ticks as I should have been.
Right.
And I did find one in my belly button.
Oh, yeah, that's
in my navel during a
right.
shower.
How in the world did they get in there?
I don't need.
That was planned.
Yeah,
Well, they had a tick GPS.
Yeah, and I had to get the tweezer.
Oh, yeah,
God.
sorry. That's
it was just bad.
Now I feel bad for you that I even brought it up.
Oh, and then somebody says, Brad Paisley.
Oh, is that who it was?
Down
Yeah.
at
I'd like to
Jump
check you
Ants.
for
Yes,
ticks.
I'd
There
like
you
to
go.
check you for
So everybody today, let's fire up the Brad Paisley and check everyone else for ticks.
Touch
just in
each
case.
other for ticks.
Yes, because it was a long holiday weekend.
It was.
Lord knows what we're contracting. Contracting ticks. You contract ticks? I guess you could. Or contract a silly country song that probably went aluminum, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm sure Brad Paisley did very well.
I'm sure Brad probably did. Yes, that's probably the case. All right, stick around. We'll coming up. We've got your steps.
The flashback, and your chance to win.
All right.
10 or 15 minutes away.
We've got a lot of stuff. That's the best way to say it. All right, how about some Free and Def Leppard coming? Your speaker is smart enough to play 103.9.
Okay, let's see here. This is, first of all, take care of business here. First of all, this is the art wall. For those who have not seen it. And this is just a few of the drawings that we've done over the years.
Available in-store or on Menards.com. Save big and all pressure-treated lumber and decking at Menards. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer for more great deals happening now. Save big money at Menards.
So there's those. And we do commissions as well. The situation, Boss Lady, in Texas was because of a flash flood that happened Friday. One particular river rose amazingly, frighteningly fast over a couple of hours span, and it swept away basically a whole town, including a whole camp it's an all-girls private camp, and some of the counselors also with that. There are still people that are not accounted for yet. The official death toll is at least 82 people. There are others missing, at least 41 in number, but there will likely be more than that because, as the governor of Texas said, they don't have an official missing list completed yet. That's still being compiled. So that's what's going on right now there. What else is happening? So that was tragic, super tragic. There are questions regarding how much warning the community got from the National Weather Service because there had been government-ordered cutbacks at the National Weather Service just recently, which many of you might have heard about, and that may have played a role, and the question becomes how much, because a lot of key positions were eliminated during these cutbacks, forced cutbacks. And that is the kind of thing where people are a little bit concerned, because that means that there's going to be stuff like this happening in the future if those are not restocked, those positions. On the Australian news. Yeah, you know what, Mel? We also heard about what happened in Australia with this woman that apparently put poison mushrooms in her in-laws' meals. Was just found guilty of that. That was a pretty bizarre story also. What else is going on? In Arizona, 10,000 acres burned, 75% of that fire situation contained there. That was today, yep. Heard about that not long before we came on the air this morning, about that rather bizarre scenario. Hopefully your pets were able to make it through the fireworks of the weekend. Steph's got 3 dogs over there who all get a little bit skittish with fireworks. And one of them that she was fostering, so that's now become her dog, so she's still kind of getting used to what that dog's about. And apparently that's also one that really doesn't like fireworks. Jacko is not really all that bothered by them. He kind of looks around when he hears the noises, but he does that kind of when there's a lot of thunder, for example, loud claps of thunder. He might do that. He's not really scared of it as much as he's just wondering where it's coming from. It was her ex's family that she poisoned, in this case with these mushrooms. Mental issues, you can tell. You know, this whole business of family strife, I have seen just in the past couple of days unfolding here on Facebook with people, and I got to say it was guys who were posting a whole lot of vitriol about their exes on Facebook, which was kind of uncomfortable to be reading because some of them went into great detail about them. Lucky her ex didn't turn up for that lunch. Yeah, really. Which makes me think that perhaps, and she faked having cancer besides. Wow, she's got all kinds of issues. Maybe the biggest difference over the course of the past 15 to 20 years in life has been the introduction of social media. Because now, all the things that used to be kept secret, whether it be political affiliation or support or family issues going on that none of us would have ever known about because nobody really kind of broadcast that. If there was no way for people to broadcast that, they didn't, and they just generally kept to themselves. At least that was my experience growing up and getting to be my age. I had not seen or heard a whole lot of action going on within other families regarding pretty much anything about them other than surface level stuff that you might see. But now, because they get on social media and they just freely post everything that's going on in their head, you'll hear about who they're backing politically, you'll hear about who they're not backing in life, sometimes in the immediate family, stuff that you absolutely would never have heard about or thought about years ago. And you look at that person and you look at these people differently when you start reading all this stuff than you ever would have before that. You absolutely would not have been able to understand what was going on with all of them. Next door neighbor's dog terrified Friday night, but you were outside and her human mommy said you're talking to baby girl at her. Oh, well, geez. Any kind of comfort a dog can get in a situation like that is welcomed, I'm sure. For sure. Yeah, that's the thing. And at least, you know, if you're going to do fireworks, I suppose at least there's a limit, at least in our area there is, a limit to how much you can shoot off fireworks. It used to be open-ended. You could start, and some people did start, in late May shooting fireworks off from time to time, and all through June and every now and then, until it really got aired out on the 4th of July. Now there's only a couple of days that you're allowed to shoot them off in most cities in our area, ahead of fireworks, ahead of 4th of July and then after. Because, you know, not only are you talking about animals, but you're also talking about these former military people who are still battling PTSD, and stuff like that really freaks them. And so you have to be concerned about that kind of thing also. If you are in a neighborhood that has soldiers, ex-soldiers, and they are still having a tough time with the way things used to be, where the way they were living, and they're still kind of freaked out by fireworks, you got to consider that.
Johnny Burke back on Thursday to give you money just in time to get the money going. That's how it works. Fox Streeter Brothers Summer Cash Grab coming up again Thursday, once in the morning with the Foxhole Morning Show, Steve Driver in the midday, and then I'll be back at the normal time slot and hopefully caught up on some sleep by then. But now it is time for the one, the only Dr. Deal Good, Joe.
All right, we got Joe from our Anything for a Buck sales department chatting with some of the deals that we have going on right now. I see you guys talking a little bit about Ozzy. They did have this final concert of his. I saw several video clips of that. That happened over the weekend. He was, of course, he's got a ton of issues going on health-wise, so he was sitting in a chair the entire time at the age of 77. This is going to be the finale for him. And it made me think of the earliest days of Beatlemania. This was back in 1964 when the United States was first learning about who the Beatles were and what they were about and how much of an influence they were going to have on entertainment. And it was asked of them how long they planned to go as a group. How long do they plan to perform? As if they'd have any idea. Because those are kids who were, at that time, they were kids in their mid or even early 20s. And I remember it was John who had said at the time, nobody wants to see a Beatle jumping around on stage when they're 30. Well, it got beyond that because they had staying power to the point where Ringo, who is the oldest Beatle, turns 85 today. Today is his birthday, and he's still performing, and he still looks like he could perform for more years to come. He looks better now than he did 20 years ago, physically. And remember our little philosophy that we have here with the group, which is we don't care how old you are, how old you feel. I saw a quote just yesterday from Ringo where somebody had asked him about that, and he says when he looks in the mirror, he still feels like he's 24. And this is a guy who's 85 as of today. Today's his birthday. And so everybody's, based on that, his whole peace and love thing is at noon today, just say peace and love to everybody, and that's kind of like the thing that he's had going for 38 years, I think, something like that. But Stones are the same, but they look like they're in their 80s. Those guys look like they're in their 80s, despite the fact that Mick, for all the dancing around he does, doesn't look like he's lost a step. There's a guy who works out. There's a guy who keeps himself. You have to keep yourself in shape to be able to play and perform the way he does. But they still physically look like they're in their 80s when they're on stage. And I mean, there's only really a couple of them left. I mean, it's basically Mick and Keith. Ron Wood, yes, he's considered a member of the group, but he's not one of the originals. And then, of course, the other guys you don't even hear about anymore, especially since Charlie Watts is no longer around. But those guys look like they're in their 80s. Here now is our favorite Marine. We're talking about military people having issues with fireworks. Heather is here on Facebook. Heather, here's something curious here, because you've had service time in the Marines. Do you ever get freaked at all by fireworks, or do they not bother you? We just got done talking about how we have to be very careful of some military people who are bothered by them annually. We're talking about not freaking out the animals, because that happens a lot. But we also have to make sure that we are at least considerate of military people who have to deal with some of their past experiences that carry over into today. And fireworks sometimes can bring that up. We're going to get to the traffic here in just a second.
Ultra low fares make getting away easier. Plan your trip from Flynn Bishop at Allegiant.com.
Country star Jordan Davis will perform a post-game concert at Comerica Park after the Tigers Tigers game Friday, July 11th. A Tigers game ticket gets you access to the show or seat on the field with a VIP pass. Get your tickets now at tigers.com/sounds of summer.
We get it. It's Monday.
Heather said she did not watch the fireworks. She just does not like crowds and unexpected fireworks.
Bar and grill. And, of course, free pool all day. And then, might we suggest some live music with Doc and friends?
I can see that.
Mondays aren't so bad.
Robsuka asking about Tina's situation. We'll get to that right after the traffic. We're talking about that, I think, before you showed up. We'll talk about that in a minute here.
Casino and Resort, Steve Miller Band. With special guest Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Showtime 7 p.m. for Steve Miller Band's only Michigan appearance. Tickets are
63 Fahrenheit degrees right now.
Box office or online at etix.com. Steve Miller Band and Kenny Wayne Shepherd, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert
But
Series, August 13th.
back to that Ozzy situation. He was in that concert the other night at the age of 77 with a lot of health issues, of course. But based on what I saw in the clips and what I heard the chat about this morning on air, he still, even, and of course, knowing this is going to be his last one, that at 77, he still had the chops to be able to effectively entertain an audience. Tony over on Facebook. Good morning. Tony does not like fireworks or crowds either. Heather saying it's less a military thing for her, more of an American shooting trend thing. Could understand that. Fully understand that. How does Ringo start? Well, one thing is that his diet, his and Paul's diets are immaculate. Right now, the freeways are still crash-free and delay-free here into this Monday morning commute, but we're still working a crash now at 2nd and Church Streets in Flint that happened a while ago. A couple of other surface street problems we were looking at have been cleared up since last we spoke about them. And for updated vehicle city traffic info, a reminder here, you can check out classicfox.com/traffic. And if you spot a crash, tell us about it at 810-230-WRSR. That's 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster right here on 103.9 The Fox.
In October of 1999, this band was joined by Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page for 2 pairs of shows in New York and Los Angeles, and also at the Centrum in Massachusetts, yielding a live release called Live at the Greek on TBT Records. There we go. Then, following that release, they actually went on tour with Jimmy Page, and I caught their show at the Palace on that tour, 2 rows back on the floor, right next to Jesse James Dupree of Jackal, who had been in town to do a show for the radio station that I was working at for the time. We took turns buying each other beers. Let me tell you, Jesse James Dupree can put down some beers.
He can put down a few things.
Yeah.
He's got his own brand of whiskey, so he's not bad at it.
Man, he looked good, though, in those black leather pants. I'm not going to lie.
He's a good man. I like that.
Yes. Now, following that tour, Chris Robinson married actress Kate Hudson before heading back to the studio. Here they are now. Let's get into it from the Black Crowes. It's Remedy, acoustically, this morning on 103.9 The Fox.
Yeah, it is. Heather's saying, have you seen perform lately? Beyond the clips that I saw from this show that he performed over the weekend, where he was sitting in a chair the entire time, Aerosmith was there, and it was just, he looked like he was having a good time for his last outing. And of course, that's it. If it's the last one and you know it, you're going to put everything you can into it as best you can. Now, as far as, again, the update on Tina, I was communicating last night with Tina Jr., and she had mentioned that yesterday was not a good day. The pain meds are still trying to adjust those to a comfortable level and still haven't found the right combination for that yet. None seem to be working effectively enough. And also that she is not able to either stand or move well at all. So Carrie was saying that was not the best of news at all to deal with, but she's going to constantly keep us updated. She also says that she's going to make sure Tina knows that everybody's been asking about her. And I guess, Mel, you were talking, messaging back and forth with her. So she's probably well aware that her absence, let's say, is well noticed at this point. Michael J. Fox still alive also. Now over on Facebook. Good morning to Bob. Bob joining us. He's our retiree from Iowa who continues to enjoy retirement. That affects people differently. Some people enjoy it. Some people get bored real quickly with it. I know I keep talking about a friend of mine who used to be a police officer down just outside of Detroit who retired years ago after 25 years on the force and is busier now than he ever was when he was working on the force because he had so many hobbies to go to and continues to pursue them. So yeah, age is a pain, you know. That's one of the reasons why I keep saying you really are kind of up here, your true age. You are what you're sitting there thinking you are right now. Sometimes the body fights against you, but if at least you have the mental wherewithal to try to keep going and make yourself feel as good as you possibly can, then everything is positive. And for Bob, the days just fly by, he says. The days just fly by. Mel messaging Tina again. That's terrific. If she answers you, keep us surprised at what's going on that. Phil Collins has got lots of issues as well. I think he just turned 74 back in January. And that he kind of went downhill physically rather quickly. And one of the reasons that the health problems started for him were in his arms, his wrists, shoulders because of the drumming that he had done. One of the things that I noticed about him is he never kept the style of drumming that he had. He never kept his arms real close to his body. They were always way out here. And a whole lot of this kind of action, after a while, might be able to catch up to you. And he had back surgery that did not work, and Bob tries to walk at least 3 miles a day. That's nice. That's terrific. That's terrific. That's I keep thinking that is a very, very inexpensive way to exercise. I'm doing that. I'm trying to walk at least 3,000 steps a day. It used to be 5, and for a while it was 10,000 steps a day, but there's a time factor involved in that. I got so many things that I have to do during the day because of, you know, when you're always trying to hustle up work because everything you do is freelance, you're working all the time, and even when you're not, you're looking for more work. So there's an awful lot of time that's taken up in the daytime, and so if you try to walk and you're using a lot of time up, that's going to cut into what you need to do. So I've cut down the goal to 3,000 steps a day, and I've been hitting that. In fact, I've got 72 days in a row having hit it. It's a small, inexpensive, easy form of exercise that just adds up. And I walk by this gym when I do that in the morning, and I'm seeing these people on their machines, whether they be treadmills or the Stairmasters, whatever they are doing, and they're paying a club membership to do the same thing that I can get the same exercise benefit of for free.
The style that Black Rose has.
I do too.
Without going into a lengthy story, I just like the guys.
Yes, and the singer, the guy that married Kate Hudson,
Chris Robinson.
Rich, yeah, Chris Robinson,
Yeah.
Chris and Rich, right?
Chris and Richie.
Yep. I always get them mixed up, but Chris is always barefoot when you see him
Yes.
perform. Have you noticed?
I have.
Yes.
And don't they usually have like a throw rug or something?
Yes.
That they walk around.
Yeah, one of his little idiosyncrasies.
Yes, probably
Yes.
some kind of OCD thing.
Probably.
That has to be clean.
I think he
everything.
just, he looks like a hippie.
Oh, yes. Those
And
guys
he
are
always-
very hippie.
Gymnasiums can be very expensive.
He always needs a good bar of soap and some
Now,
mouthwash.
some of them have for example, whirlpools. A lot of people need that as part of their workout regimen, just to kind of ease the stress on the muscles, and people sometimes will do it just for that. Water aerobics kinds of things, but you've got the machines. A lot of people like to lift weights, and that I'm not really much doing that. Heaviest thing I lift during the day is a computer mouse.
So the trivia question, the phone number that you'll need is 810-230-9777. As always, I solicit for your request. This is not my feature, it's yours. So if you've got one that you'd like to hear, maybe you're celebrating an anniversary or a birthday, or maybe just a song you've not heard for a while, go ahead and send those emails to steph@classicfox.com. You are playing this morning for a $20 gift certificate towards Always Great Food Adjusters. We've got tickets to see Steve Miller and Kenny Wayne Shepherd up at Soaring Eagle. And then we've got
Mike V here on YouTube. He has been known to us as TCB for the longest time. Welcome to Long Island.
coming up within the next couple of weeks here.
That's a big one.
Yes, it
It's,
is.
professionally sanctioned. It is huge. And some great acts coming up, too, with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll get more into that a little bit later.
All right,
Not
yeah.
unless it's on there.
Well, it's the family 4-pack of tickets for the Gaines Community Rodeo. That's
Now, I will admit, Bob, that part of the walking thing is mandatory because I have to take my damn psycho dog out for bathroom breaks, and he won't do anything in the home yard. Got to go elsewhere.
I get the feeling that'll sell out.
Therefore, the walk.
Here's the question. I mentioned during the intro that after the tour with Jimmy Page, Chris Robinson married a pretty well-known actress, the daughter of Goldie Hawn and musician Bill Hudson. I know, it's easy, but it is a low expectation Monday,
That's
all
true.
right? What's her name? What is her name?
There you go. That's all
All
you
right.
got to do.
810-230-9777.
Give us a call and good luck.
Tim Fan is here with his yo-yo high on the roof of wherever the hell he's working today, although he works on far more than just the roof, we found over the course of the past many months. He's doing gutters today, for example. He's working from the ground up, all the way up to the roof. The roof is kind of like the pièce de résistance. He's got lots of other things. Gutters today. Well, I tell you what, Tim Fan, you are in the right place because a lot of the folks who are here always at least have their minds in the gutter, if nothing else. Telling you. All right, if you are on YouTube and you haven't yet done it, I hope you will like and subscribe because we continue to try to grow the group, and we're doing it one viewer at a time. Trying to get the day started on the right foot here, like, for example, this woman in Kentucky did. Jacko not doing his business in the yard, that is so strange. We don't know, Mel, how many times we talked about this. We don't know his history. Never will know his history because when he was scooped up off the streets of Saginaw, Michigan by the animal control people, they had no identification on him whatsoever. They had no knowledge of where he came from, how long he'd been out there, or anything about how he was living before. So it's quite possible that he was severely punished if he did something in his own yard. I mean, that's possible because it's weird. I mean, most people just let their dogs out, and then when the dog is done, comes back in. The person who owns the dog never has to go outside. I do. For the last 2+ years, I've had to be out with him walking at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just for bathroom breaks. Every single day for over 2 years. Every day. Here now is from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's all of 86 at 4:50 a.m. Pacific time, on the way to 111. Typical Phoenix day. Hot Jim from Hot Jim, and, well, he's not going to be with the robot army much. Did you miss a shower story? No, you didn't. And in fact, the shower lady's not even here. We were talking about that. Tina's got some health issues. She's been hospitalized for several days, and the update that I got last night from Tina Jr. is that they're still working on adjusting the pain meds to the right dosage, and she's still having issues trying to move around, even get out of bed at this point. So, you know, it's tough times for Tina these days, and we're continuing to monitor her progress. We're going to get to the news here in a couple of minutes. Let's talk about this Kentucky woman. She won a lottery jackpot. She was able to win $50,000 in one of her state lottery games because she used the numbers that came from inside a fortune cookie. How often do you think that those fortune cookies aren't worth crap because they're too generic in what they say? Well, there were some specific numbers in this particular fortune cookie. Kathy Bailey of Lexington, Kentucky, saw them, used them, applied them to a lottery game, and ended up winning 50 grand out of it. There you go. Congrats to the lady from Kentucky, the Kentucky woman about whom Elvis once sang. Let's see what's going on. We're going to be doing, I don't know if he's going to do news yet or if he's got some more commercials to play before we get done with that. So just hang in there. We're going to find out now with Roy Moore and Steph Barber.
103.9 the Fox Blitz Classic Rock with Journey and the Wheel in the Sky at 7:54. We have a winner.
We do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner.
Woohoo! Congratulations to Tony Savoy of Flint. He did take those tickets to see Steve Miller and Kenny Wayne Shepherd up at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort on August 13th. What a show that will be.
That's going to be a great one there.
Tony is going courtesy of 103.9 The Fox, and we do have a couple of more pairs of those tickets for tomorrow going forward.
All right. And once again, the question for those who didn't catch it.
Yeah, so I mentioned during the intro that after the tour with Jimmy Page, Chris Robinson married a pretty well-known actress, the daughter of Goldie Hawn and musician Bill Hudson. What's her name? Tony knew that it was Kate Hudson.
Very good. Nicely done, Tony.
Yes.
Way to go, Tony. We'll give him a ding. There you go.
No, yeah. I loved Kate Hudson in
Yes,
Almost
all right.
Famous.
Yep.
Love that movie. Watched it again over the weekend.
I think that is one that I've seen a few times.
Yeah.
It's Cameron Crowe, so
Yes.
it was fantastic. You know, the soundtrack's excellent, all that.
Yeah. What a great
Yep,
movie.
that's a good one there. All right.
I
Well,
was born 10 years too late.
well, some people say that, but oftentimes I think you just, they have to look at it and go, hey, I just got good taste. You know, that's what it is. It doesn't matter when you came into the planet. That's just, it's just the way you are.
Yeah. And you know what? My kids would rather listen to my kind of classic rock as opposed to anybody else's.
Well, good.
You know, all of these baby bands up and coming, they just don't have the chops that we grew up with.
Right. Or you're a metal fan. It depends on the age.
Yeah.
Like my sons love metal. So that, and it's not surprising.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff out there.
That is, in Denver, I know, you guys are sick and tired of hearing it. But the great thing about a Metallica show, and even a metal show in general, is that it's generational.
Yes.
And parents, they learn from their father.
Bingo.
And they give it to their children moving forward. There were so many kids at the Metallica show, and even for Limp Bizkit and Pantera.
Yeah.
Lots of kids holding up signs that said, "My first Metallica concert
Nice.
ever."
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I think you just gotta raise them right.
Yeah, that's
gotta raise them right.
just while they're sleeping or in the room,
Yes.
even just start pounding that stuff
Betcha.
in. Yeah, my son and I have seen Rush together several times. So
See?
we miss Rush. We miss Neil. That's a tough one to talk about. All right, so one more time we're going to check in with Hal Maas at the top of the hour with the 5 things that you should know, and I believe we've got a couple other items to give away too if we decide to do so. We got stuff.
We've got stuff.
Yeah,
We have options.
We got things. We got things to do. 7:57. Good morning.
Big deal alert.
Need some work done on your car?
We're going to be a little bit behind, I guess. I don't think they're going to get out. I think they're going to go right. Well, I don't think they're going to go from the commercials right into the news, although I might be mistaken on that. Again, you always kind of wing it here, and particularly with Roy, because he's trying to get used to the idea of the morning show. He hasn't done it in quite a while. He used to be the guy who was our... Okay. That answered that question. He just told me they're going to do it right out of the commercials. But Roy used to be the standard morning show substitute for whenever Johnny was away. But then Roy left to get into the landscaping business full-time and was there for a couple of years for one of our local companies, in fact, one that does a whole lot of advertising with us. And then Roy came right back to us several months ago, and this is the first time he's had a chance to substitute in the morning since that return. So he's trying to get used to the idea of waking up. And as he said, he's here Monday through Wednesday this week before Johnny comes back Thursday. And he says about the time that he gets used to being up in the morning again, that'll be the end of it, and Johnny will be back on Thursday. Charlie's here. Good morning, Charlie, who is joining us on Facebook. You don't see his comments because, well, he's on Facebook, and you guys, most of you, are on YouTube right now. He is very different to Johnny, then. He is, Mel. His style is quite different. It's quite unique. And it is another favorite. He's another one of those that people just love in this area. He sounds like a rock jock. He sounds like a rock jock and could be mistaken and has been mistaken many times in public for Bob Seger. He was somewhere, I can't remember where he was one time where they were out on an appearance. Roy was there, and some people had mistaken him for Bob Seger. Because it does happen.
ClassicFox.com to find out where we'll be next. Salute the Troops 2025, brought to you by Pesto's Food with a Flair. We love serving.
Let's see here.
Earl Dog Sign. Since 1930, the oldest sign company in Michigan. GFL, Green for Life Environmental, providing sustainable environmental
8 a.m. in the Eastern Time Zone right now.
With 11 locations. Plumbing, heating for kitchen and bath, along with custom cabinetry and Streeter Brothers Concrete Contractors of Burton. You rock. Salute the Troops 2025 at 103.
Kind of hard to type and eat. See, Boss Lady, I'm used to that. I rarely am eating when I'm not doing something else. So usually I have to be careful and have food that does not get all over my fingers so that I don't get them all smeary all over the keyboard of my computer, either my laptop or whatever, because I'm always doing something else while eating. I was really taking my life in my hands last night because I was drawing. I've got a commission drawing I'm doing for somebody right now, and I'm trying to kind of do that bits and pieces in the middle of all the other things. And you can't really do that and be eating much at the otherwise there's going to be something that's going to splatter on the, and you can't have that splatter on the drawing. You can't. The other thing was going on is I'm in the process of completing my 19th audiobook. That should be done by Wednesday. So this wasn't really a holiday weekend. 3 days of basically just not getting up so early. Here we go. And good morning. 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Brought to you this time by Fick Landscape Supplies. Summer is here. It's garden season, and Fick Landscape Supplies can help. The finest topsoil, compost, and leaf humus around for your garden. 18 varieties of decorative stone, 7 colors of mulch, and they do deliver. 2 locations to serve you. Find out more at ficklandscapesupplies.com and like them on Facebook. Now let's get thick and busy in the garden. Tragedy in Texas as at least 82 people have died as the result of the flash floods that struck the central part of the state early Friday. That includes at least 28 children, with a desperate search continuing for at least 41 other people still missing. 11 campers and 1 counselor from the all-girls private camp Mystic remained missing as of last night, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott is saying that there are others unaccounted for who are not on the known missing list. It's word that a driver died of injuries in a crash in Saginaw late Friday night. Police saying that crash happened at South Washington and Holden Streets, with one vehicle exiting a parking lot onto South Washington near Holden and into the path of another vehicle. The female victim died after being rushed to the hospital, while 6 other people suffered non-life-threatening injuries. That crash remaining under investigation. Authorities in Flint probing the homicide of a woman that happened last week, as police say the 50-year-old victim was beaten badly and stabbed, found lying on the sidewalk along the 500 block of Martin Luther King Avenue just before 4 a.m. Tuesday. She later died at the hospital, and no suspects have yet been taken into custody. Tigers beat the Guardians 7-2 in 10 innings in Cleveland yesterday to complete a sweep over the weekend. Tigers also placed 4 players on the American League squad for next week's All-Star game. That includes second baseman Gleyber Torres, outfielders Riley Green and Javi Baez, all of whom are going to start, and pitcher Tarek Skubal, who is likely to also start on the mound for the American League. Great Lakes Loons beat the West Michigan Whitecaps 4-2, and Shane Van Gisbergen won the NASCAR race that was run yesterday on the Chicago street course. And to cap this one off, gas prices in Michigan down 11 cents from a week ago, as AAA Michigan's reporting that we are now paying an average $3.15 a gallon for regular unleaded. Some of the lowest average prices found in Flint at around $3.07. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Today's forecast calling for us to start the day with cloudy skies before the sunshine takes over as the day progresses. We're expected to top out around 77 degrees today with northerly winds at around 7 miles an hour. Clear conditions tonight, comfortable temperatures down around 59, and then it's more sunshine ahead for tomorrow, highs near 84. Wednesday, generally sunny once again, but with a chance that we would get an intermittent shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, and 83. Right now it's 63 in Flint, and in Saginaw, 64.
Classic Rock Authority.
103.9 The Fox.
Okay. Mel just heard back from Tina. Okay, an update. $3.50 for regular unleaded right now in Arizona, reports Hot Jim. The mutt of the month is what we have right now. The hot mutt of the month, which we get every month in our 365 Dogs calendar, this time is a Canadian canine named Lucy. Lucy lives in Bradford, Ontario, Canada. Apparently that's very close to one of the connections to our friend Canada Dan. And this is a Poodle Husky mix. A Poodle Husky mix named Lucy. Mel saying that means a lot to know that we've been thinking about her and all asking about her for sure. And she's sending love and blessings to everybody. Thanks, Mel, for the relayed message from one of the anchors to this group, as it turns out, over the course of the last several years. Well, we'll find out if hopefully things are a little more positive tomorrow, because tomorrow we were going to transfer operations over to Instagram Live at Hal Maas News, at least Hal Maas _news. You all know that by now because you've been coming there for so long. And tomorrow, beginning with a T, we'll be on Instagram as we are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tomorrow morning starts at 7 a.m., assuming that everything technically goes a little better than it did this morning. And in the course of looking at the screen and kind of perusing a couple of things, I think I understand what happened this morning and what didn't get us on the air smoothly. So I think maybe when we do this again on Wednesday as a live stream, simul stream, we probably won't have that problem again. So tomorrow, hopefully you'll be back in the Hal Hole Saloon with us. Well, not that, that's Thursday, but in the Hal Hole itself tomorrow morning on Instagram. And after you've had a pleasant, peaceful, productive start to your week here on the 7th of July, stay as cool as it's possible to do under your circumstances. And come back and join us tomorrow morning here in the Hal Hole with your friends, the Hal Raisers. Okay?